Alrighty, welcome everyone. My name is Deven Halcomb. I'm the band director at Provo High School, and this is our informational session for our 2020-2021 Winterguard season. Our Colorguard Director Erin Murdock is calling most of the shots. I'm simply supporting her as best I can as the band director. Erin, we're going to get to you in just a second, but just so everyone knows, we're going to introduce Erin, we're going to introduce the staff members, we're going to go over what a Winter Guard show looks like. We're going to talk about our schedule, our fees, and then get into how to audition. How do you join Winter Guard? So, Erin, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so a little bit about me is, well, I just started working at Provo this year. So I've been here and participated in the fall color guard with the marching band, and that was really awesome. I'm really impressed with the school and the program here. Color guard has been a part of my life for as long as I can remember, sort of thing. I've been spinning for well over 10 years, and it's just something I'm really passionate about. I really think that it's an awesome sport and something that's really special and unique. I've spun kind of all over because I lived kind of all over. So I have spun in the Chicago area and in Philadelphia area, and then here in Utah as well. But then myself, I got married this year, and I'm still currently a student. I'm at BYU and I'm studying math education. So if you ever need help with your math homework, that's me. I love it. Love it so much.
Cool, cool. So, for folks that have never done Color Guard before, when you say that you spun in Chicago or spun in Philadelphia, what does that mean? What is Color Guard?
Yeah. So for a long time, I feel like I didn't really understand what color guard was actually, but eventually I had like an instructor who kind of just talked about how we're just dancing with something in our hands, and I felt like that was something that finally resonated with me. Um, Even though you don't necessarily have to have any sort of dance background to be successful at color guard, because I was not a dancer before. We do a lot of dance and basics that regard dance technique and things like that. And then if you have ever seen like a parade or a marching band show, there's frequently people with flags, sometimes with rifles and sabers that are all fake. And we spin those. So you throw them in the air. You learn choreographed routine. It's much like any other performing art in the fact that you learn one specific routine for a season and we are judged on it and things like that. So it's a competitive activity, and it's really just about kind of learning new tricks and stuff.
Okay. You said this is your first year at Provo High. What has Color Guard been like for you here at Provo High in this 1 year?
Well, everyone knows this year has been unique and different than every other year, and hopefully different than every year to come. We hope it gets better from here, but it's been still pretty good because we've been able to be spinning and having a season despite the different COVID restrictions and things like that. So we've had a really great team that included people from every single one of the grades here at Provo High. And we were able to have even students who had never spun before, who had never participated in color guard, they learned the full routine that we had written for the fall outdoor show. And we were able to have everyone even doing some of the more advanced skills with like weapon, rifle, and saber, things like that. Everyone was learning some of those higher level skills, which we thought was really awesome. And we did pretty well in some of our competitions too. We were taking some of the top three places pretty frequently, so that was really awesome.
Cool. And like you said, it's been a wild year for us to do all that with myself. This is my first year as the director at Provo High. Your first year as the guard director. I want to take a segue for a second and introduce the two staffers that you see at the bottom of your screen. Um, Valeria, similar question to you. What's your color guard background like?
Awesome. So, again, my name is Valeria. So I've been doing color guard for about 6 years now. I am from Atlanta, Georgia, so I spent a lot of time there doing mostly flag, but also rifle. My favorite is the flag. I have spent a lot of time in it. I just really enjoy it. And we've also done like various competitions as part of my high school training in places such as Ohio and going to Indianapolis. And I marched in the Macy's Day Parade, which was one of my favorite memories. I'm doing color guard right now in BYU as well. I'm studying genetics and hopefully maybe doing art as a minor. We'll see. So I think in general, color guard has kind of helped me get through like really hard times. It's helped me kind of push forward, do something I enjoy, meet wonderful people that I still continue to talk to, consider lifelong friends. So
Cool. And in my background, like I said at the beginning of our stream today, I am not a particularly skilled color guard person. But I think back to my experiences as a kid, the band members I met in color guard that I still remember and look up to this day as an adult. And this sport really has that opportunity to excel, create magnificent art, and create lasting friendships all in one. It's very unique like that. Brianna, can you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Brianna. Sorry, I'm on the front runner right now, so if you feel any background noise, that's why. But I'm Brianna. I'm also at BYU. I'm in nursing. I've been doing color guard for about 9 years now. I've done for 4 years at my high school, where we got to go to Atlanta, Georgia, and Dayton, Ohio, two competitions. I also coached at my old high school for about a year. And just like Larry, I'm on the BYU color guard. This is my second year on the team. And I'm super excited to be coaching again. It's one of my favorite things. I love performing, but I also love coaching and just helping other people see how they light up and they understand certain techniques or skill and how I just love it. I'm really excited.
Cool, cool. And again, for the folks on the stream that aren't familiar with color guard, the competition in Dayton is like the Super Bowl of color guard. And so to have not one but two, but I believe three coaches, right? You've all done Dayton at some point. To have all of our coaches with that kind of experience brings a lot to the table for what you, the student, are going to get out of your experience in Winter Guard this year. I'm really glad to have them both on the team. I want kind of going from the personal introductions. I want to get into what this year is going to look like. So, what is the show? What's the choreography for this year?
We are really excited about this, and we were talking even just yesterday about some more of the details that we were looking for. So, the show comes from a song that is titled Quarter Life Crisis. And this song, Valeria, what's the artist again for that?
Harry Hudson.
Harry Hudson. Yes. And this song is kind of a little bit more like edgy, like, like it's pop music, but it's kind of about this type of quarter life crisis that the world seems to be in with a pandemic and everything like that. But it's also just about, we're kind of envisioning kind of a world burning sort of aesthetic. That's what we kind of want to take from this. But then we also are envisioning as a finale to the show at the end of the song, kind of building the world back together after we've kind of broken it apart and experienced the heartaches that have come with, I don't know, being a teenager, but also just being a part of this pandemic and everything like that. So in Winterguard, in Color Guard, where we do indoor, we often have a big tarp that we call the floor that we work with. And we're currently planning to have like a base level tarp that is going to have different kind of sections that will have this like black gray pattern that's kind of just like a chaotic pattern to match the chaos of the show. And then we're discussing some potential props that we could use, such as, honestly, one thing we were all agreeing on is like having a trash can that's like going to be overturned sort of thing, and maybe just we're hoping to get some backdrops that we can paint on and use Valeria's art skills that will be kind of like that city skyline that's going to be going up in embers. And we're hoping to kind of have different props, even like picture frames and things like that, to represent different aspects of our life that we can break. And then later build them back together at the end of the show to kind of create a resolution and to show that, like, even as everything kind of comes apart and tears down, that we can then like still rise above that and become better through these things. Does anyone else want to add on what that vision is there? No. Okay, cool. With regards to like a uniform and show face for the different individuals, we were discussing kind of like a ripped jeans type of feel. And potentially like Larry was even suggesting kind of like a leather jacket sort of thing, but we haven't finalized
like the Breakfast Club.
Yeah. We haven't finalized exactly what it will look like. We haven't looked at specific articles of clothing for that, but that's the vision we have. And it might be like everyone's wearing sort of a slightly different thing, but the overall, like, it'll be kind of a monochrome, same type of style on each person. And then makeup-wise, mostly like dark and kind of like bruised almost, with different aspects of the face and things like that. So it's a little like grungy, darker, but it's going to have this positive resolution towards the end, which we're looking forward to.
Okay. I honestly, I look forward to seeing that kind of come together through the rehearsals. So, like I've said a couple times now, I'm the band director. I don't necessarily direct the color guard, but I try to support as best I can. And I'm going to try to be at rehearsal about at least once a week, if not every other week. But Erin, can we kind of pivot into that and kind of go over what the rehearsal schedule looks like for people?
Yes, for sure. I'd also like to say that we are very grateful for Deven's support and how involved he is and how much he wants to be involved. It's awesome.
As long as I don't pull a hip like I did in marching band, that hurt so bad. It's like I'm not young, I'm not flexible anymore.
It's true. You might have been a little too involved there.
Yeah. But rehearsal schedule, go ahead.
Yeah. So we're planning to have rehearsals Tuesdays, Thursdays, and then most Saturdays. So Tuesday and Thursdays, we're thinking evenings about 6 to 9 p.m. is when we've reserved space. But in a schedule I created, I listed like 5:45 as the start time for that because we would want everyone to be able to get there a little bit ahead of time to pull out any different tarps and props and things like that so we can actually begin our rehearsals at 6. But yeah, so that will be basically consistent throughout the whole season is Tuesdays and Thursdays. And the season starts theoretically like December 1st and goes until the end of March. So it's not necessarily something that goes until the end of school, but it goes until the end of March. So it's like 4 months, I guess. And Saturdays, we're planning to start by alternating Saturdays. But then once competitions come into play, we're expecting to have a Saturday rehearsal just about every week because eventually competitions are every Saturday. So we'd need to be together every Saturday anyway. Yeah. And so Saturdays, though, that'll be probably about 3 hours again. And currently we're planning to alternate like a 9 a.m. to 12 noon or a 12 to 3 p.m. so that we're theoretically alternating with the percussion line as well as allowing you to sleep in more some Saturdays if you are into that. But it can be nice to get rehearsal out of the way.
So real quick on the stream, I pulled up the different calendars. You want to talk about January camp?
Yes. So school starts again for Provo, I believe, on January 4th. And so first of all, so over Christmas break, we only have the Tuesday rehearsals. Thursday falls closer to like Christmas holiday and New Year's holiday for both of those weeks. So we don't intend to have Thursday rehearsals during the winter break that your high school will have. And then I think we don't have the first Saturday, but then the second Saturday, which is right before you come back to school, we are hoping to have a longer rehearsal. I've blocked out like 5 hours potentially. And that we call a camp where we try and get as much of the show put together as possible in one time. We try and write more drill, which is kind of where people are moving in the show, and teach as much choreography as we can. Granted, however, anyone who has plans to do things over winter break, like you're not going to be held accountable for missing that because family comes first and everything. But if you are in the area it will be very beneficial for you to be able to come and participate, because if not, it will just take a lot of extra effort to learn double when you come back. But you won't be penalized or anything like that for not being able to attend a rehearsal. And obviously, people will be potentially getting sick or being quarantined throughout the whole season, and that you're never going to be penalized if you have a valid excuse for not being able to miss rehearsal.
And for context, the documents for December, January, all of those calendars, those are going to get uploaded in the description. Moving.
About competitions.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So, for the record, this season is planned to be completely virtual. Normally, color guard competitions, you would go to a high school in the area, and you would get to watch a bunch of other high schools' performances, and they would watch you, and there's the judging and award ceremony. But this year, because of the pandemic, we're planning to have a completely virtual season, and that means that on the Saturdays that we have a competition, you will come to Provo High School. We'll set up our show. We're planning to probably have a shorter rehearsal that day, closer to 1 to 2 hours, and then we would get our hair and makeup ready, and put on your costume and everything so that it would be like a full performance. And we'll be taking videos of the show and then submitting those videos online, and we'll get judges' feedback the next day, and then scores will be posted by Monday of each of the competitions. But we also want to encourage any parents and family and friends, so long as the school is currently permitting people to come and to gather but be socially distant, we would want them to be able to come for the part of the day where we actually do the performance, so that you still have that audience and that support and that cheering and things like that. So we'll hopefully be able to pull out the bleachers in the gymnasium and have like a show for you, as long as we're allowed to be doing that. Obviously, there will be times, or there might be times, where people aren't allowed to come to school and things like that.
Okay. Cool. So you mentioned the uniforms and the rifles and the competitions. All those things cost money. We have to pay for the judges, we have to pay for the uniforms, we have to pay for the equipment that is spun and tossed and caught. My personal rule number one is never take food off the table to pay for band stuff. At the same time, we have to make sure we pay for this stuff. So how are we making that work this year?
Yeah. So luckily, we have been very blessed in this color guard program this year, and there's been a grant that has provided more than enough money for us to create the show that we are planning to create for this season. More than enough money to cover costumes and the equipment and everything that you might need, even to the point of like, if anyone needs makeup, if you don't already have the makeup type that we'll be using, we will be providing that through this grant that has been donated. And that's a grant that kind of comes through a connection that I have, and is completely designated to the color guard at Provo High School. It is only to be used for benefiting the color guard. And so because of the plethora of funds that are there, we won't need any of the students to pay fees for this season, which is really exciting, because you should just be able to enjoy this and have fun and not make it a burden to your family or yourself.
That is amazing, because for a typical winter guard or color guard activity, I've seen people paying hundreds, in some cases thousands of dollars. So that makes things a lot easier, keeps us within rule number one. And thank you for making that connection to make this possible for our kids. That said, I do want to take a second to plug two different fundraising opportunities. One of them is the masks that are available in the front office at Provo High School in the finance office. We have neck gaiters, as well as the traditional over-ear masks. All the proceeds from that go to the band program entirely, not just color guard, but the whole band. And we also have an open link now for my student fees, if anyone watching this feed wants to support the color guard, the drumline, the band program, you can go in there. Anybody, you don't have to be here at Provo. You could be in Ukraine, and go to Provo High School's website. Go to My Student Fees, and then you can log in, and there's a band tab where you can donate. You can do it with a name and sign up, or you can do it anonymously. Anything from $1 to $1,000,000, it's open there. And I find it the easiest way to donate because it goes straight into the band's ledger. I don't touch any money. The kids don't touch any money. It goes straight to paying for educational costs. So just putting that out there to anyone and everyone watching this. So we've covered a lot. We've been on here for about 20 minutes now. I want to kind of wrap things up. We've got a wonderful season coming up. We have wonderful staffers. Brianna, Valeria, thank you for being with us tonight. Erin, thank you for setting this up. We've got a great show and a great staff. How do students join Winterguard? Either students that have done this before or students who may have never worked with us before.
Yeah. For real, we want to stress the fact that no experience is necessary. So if anyone has never touched this before, doesn't know what a color guard is, please, we all didn't know at some point. Like when my mother signed me up for this, I had no idea what I was getting into, but I love it. And so we are going to try and put like a Google Forms link in the description, kind of like with the schedule and things like that. So hopefully any additional information that you need from this will be listed in the description of this YouTube video. But that form just has like 3 questions, which are basically what are your name and what is a good contact form, like your school email would be fine. And then if you have any further questions. So if you could fill that out sometime whenever you see this video, that would be really helpful for us to kind of get a sense of how many students are intending to be a part of the program. We're hoping to try and finalize more plans as much as we can this week. But if nothing else, we will be starting rehearsals, and we totally would allow anyone to come to this first week of rehearsals starting December 1st and come to that rehearsal 6 to 9 p.m. on Tuesday. I think that is December 1st.
Correct.
Tuesday.
So we're on break right now, and then we've got Monday, November 30th, Tuesday's guard clinic.
Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, so we're calling that just an open rehearsal. So you can come, and if you discover that this isn't what you wanted it to be or what you expected it to be, which you won't, you'll find out it's awesome.
It's amazing.
And then you don't have to commit. And again, like there's no fees, so like it's no worries if you decide that this schedule isn't going to work for you or that you just don't feel like you're going to be that great at this, but it's not that hard. You're going to be great. So, but it's non-committal. If you want to come and learn and try it during this first week, you are super welcome to do that. Because we want everyone to just be aware of what color guard is, and that's awesome. Doing so, because it is kind of like a dance-based activity, it's really helpful if you can wear kind of more athletic attire. I know we talked about like a ripped jeans kind of aesthetic for the show. Wearing actual ripped jeans isn't usually the easiest thing to wear for a rehearsal. Something more like a leggings or yoga pants type of sweatpants.
Gym shorts.
Shorts, like that's more going to be your friend, honestly. And yeah, like bringing water is probably helpful too if you're coming to rehearsal because the schools kind of shut down a lot of those water fountains.
Yep. And
rehearsal this week will probably be in the commons at Provo High School. We'll move all the tables and we'll rehearse in the commons.
Cool. Valeria, Brianna, do you have anything they'd like to add before we wrap things up?
No, I think that pretty much covered it.
Cool.
Yeah, I think I'm good. I'm just super excited to work with everyone.
Yep. And I'm excited for this season. We've got a lot of great things going. COVID and this school year has been really wacky and crazy, and the show's going to kind of reflect that as far as what artistically we're putting on the floor. But I'm excited about it. I want everyone to be a part of this. if you're watching this right now, do us all a favor, share it with a friend, whether it be in a link to a text message, social media, Instagram, all that. Get the word out here at Provo High School. If you're a middle school student at Dixon Middle School, you're welcome to come participate with us as well. Or if you're in a private or charter school in the Provo High School area, reach out. You're eligible too. So thank you all. Have a great evening. Have a great Thanksgiving, and we'll see you at Color Guard next Tuesday.